Yes, this is Findus again. I'm continuing my talk through / guide, and I'm going to mention one of the problems with building walls, and that's if you build a wall. Let's see now, B capital C wall. If you were to build a wall here, sometimes the dwarf need to move the stones under it, and if they were to move the stone at this direction and then start building the wall, they would have built themselves inside here. And to stop that from happening, you can build a wall here, and then the dwarf can move out like this, and then build your wall here. And the dwarves can only build dwarves from vertical lines like this and longitudinal lines like this. They cannot build walls from diagonal lines like this. However, they can move in that direction, which means that building a wall here makes them able to move out here, and then we can build a wall here, and then we can only start building the wall from this side and not from these sides, which means that they can't get stuck if you do walls like that. Sometimes the dwarves will say that there are items stopping the site, and in this case, since I had started to build a wall here and a wall there, I think the stone that was laying there was probably going to be used for that wall there, which meant that you couldn't move it, probably. And when they started to construct that wall here, they couldn't move the stone under, which meant the construction was suspended, and they could only build one of the walls here. I don't know why they have such a system for the building walls, because it's kind of annoying, I think. But that's how it is, and I just have to work with it. And to fix it, all you have to do is to suspend if they suspend it, press S to remove the suspension, so they can can start building it again. Oh yes, this is my dwarves workshop, and this is where I make rock crafts and rock pots, and I think I'm going to. This is how I make rock pots, and I think I'm going to do that on repeat for some time. And I'm also going to make... No, I think I'm going to have it on repeat. And I think I'm going to make the jeweler start cutting gems. And crusting gems is something else. You cut gems, you take the gems, that's taking the gems, and then he cuts them into much more beautiful looking shapes, which are worth a lot more. Well, at least more in the beginning, and then a lot more as the jewel crafter levels up in his skills. And this is a preferable way to sell the gems compared to just selling them as they are. And crusting the gems is when you make some item, if you made an item and then you want to put gems in the item, like a sword with red gems, or a table with red gems, or something like that. I usually don't encrust items because selling gems is my preferred way of making money, or at least trading gems is one of the easiest items to trade. And why is this? Well, it's because one of the civilizations, elves, they don't want any items that were made with wood, and this includes metal items, since they were once burned with fuel, and it also includes items that are in bins and barrels and stuff that are with wood, which is unfortunate, of course, but you can't always have what you want. However, GAMs are not made using any wood whatsoever. And another item that isn't made using any wood whatsoever is the Craft Dwarf's workshop. When you make rock crafts. The problem with making rock crafts though is that they aren't worth as much as gems are usually. And if you have rock crafts on repeat, they very quickly fill up your stockpiles, because each time a rock crafter makes rock crafts when he's higher leveled, he makes 3 or 4 of them at a time instead of making higher leveled ones, which is kind of annoying, I think. If you have a very high leveled jeweler, his gems can be either much bigger than usual, which makes them by default worth a lot more, and they can also be mastercrafted. A mastercrafted gems is worth very, very much. Sometimes one mastercrafted gem can be made can be worth as much as 5,000, and that's as much as some steel breastplates and stuff like that, which is items you really want if they are up for selling. And I'm going to make him make all these like this, cut them all with C, and I'm going to have them on repeat. This means that he's going to keep cutting all these rocks, all these gems I mean, until he runs out of them. And this is usually the preferred way of doing it when you give him orders, because otherwise you would have to fill up this whole section here with onyx, and then have to fill it all with sword and sword and brown jasper, compared to having it just on repeat. Another thing worth mentioning on the jeweler's workshop is that he can cut items, ores and stuff like that you don't want him to cut, so you have to pay attention. One thing I saw very quickly here was that he could cut rock crystals here, and rock crystals you probably don't want to cut, because they can be used in making crystal glass, and crystal glass is worth a lot. Before this version, it was actually bugged, so you couldn't make crystal glass even though you had rock crystals. But now that it works, you probably can make rock crystals and make very high valued glass windows for your barons later on, so they become happy. Let's see, is there something else? Yeah, as you can see, you can cut limonite, hematite and stuff like that. You don't want to do that. You want to keep those for your metal furnaces and metal crafting instead. I think this is all. I'm just waiting for the wood furnace to be completed so I can make charcoal and start making the lignite. And as you can see up here, I've begun to dig out all the lignite here, and the lignite is one of the materials that can be used as fuel, as I probably mentioned before. I think I'm going to make stockpiles down here, which later on, which makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker for the furnace operators and the metalsmiths. Stockpiles only made of lignite and bars of the materials that they need. So I'd see you on the next clip, I think, when I've run into something interesting enough to mention.